I should mute this stream, right? Because
Good morning, everybody. So welcome again to this live stream. And today I have the Kimpire with me. I have Andrew Kim, I have Edward Kim, and I have Sandy Barnabas with me. Now,
I'm adopted.
Yes, he is adopted. So you see
I
Andrew.
thought I was.
We see Andrew, we see Sandy, but Edward has no cam because, yeah. Anyway. So, real quick, just to like what I like to do usually at the start of these things, and just to borrow, or actually not borrow, but outright steal from the Western Weekly, the podcast, the Western Weekly. I just like to know, what is your L5R origin story? So let's go ahead and start with Andrew. What is your L5R origin story?
So it's a little bit complicated. I learned about L5R first when Wizards of the Coast published Oriental Adventures for 3rd edition. And I read about it. I loved all the backstory, but I never got a chance to get involved in it. And then I think it was around 2006 when I started, maybe 2008, when I started playing the card game. And then my friend invited me to his role-playing game group, and then I've been playing ever since in some form or another.
Okay. How about you, Edward? What is your L5R origin story?
I think I have the same kind of experience with the L5R RPG that Andrew did. I think I turned him onto it.
Okay.
Now that I think about it, right? Maybe.
I don't remember, man. We had all those pirated deals.
Pirated games.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh yeah, we were bad.
I thought this was a Christian.
But then
yeah, sure, okay.
But then at some point after, I forgot what year it was. It might have been 2007. Andrew had been playing for a while, the card game for a while, and then he introduced it to me. So I was like, "Oh, this game's cool. We should play."
And Sandy,
that's basically it.
I think we know your origin story, but I like to hear it from your own words. What is your L5R origin story?
Actually, I'm not sure, but I don't think you know the full story.
Oh?
I had actually played the Oriental Adventures on like 3rd edition, or 3.5 when Wizards released it.
Mm-hmm.
That was when I lived in a college dorm, and I had, I think, 4 roommates that all played D&D. So we would just have like 5 games going at once.
Wow.
And I put that away. Like I think I actually probably played more than either Andrew or Edward, the RPG. And
Probably.
then when I never played the card game until it was released. I bought the core set, played like 2 games with it in the first Worlds, maybe,
Mm-hmm.
And then dropped. Then on the way to Thrones Nationals, I think Anil convinced me to play in our 18-hour drive.
I mean, in 18 hours, he can be very persuasive.
Yes.
A lot of things happen in 18 hours. A lot of things.
Yeah, and I think I remembered that because he just like Anil, like right before he went to Thrones Nationals, he was at L5R Nationals, and yeah, and with the and in which he scooped to the 4th member of the Kimpire, Arash of Gahi, which
No.
How dare you?
How dare you?
Oh wow!
Strike that from the record, chat.
Apparently, that's a sore subject. Anyway, so let's just go ahead and get started here. And we're just going to start with the game of 20 questions like we've been doing the last couple of weeks here. And we're just going to go straight on to the questions. Let me just make a quick adjustment here. Yeah, come on. There we go. All right, so let's go ahead and jump right in. So, Andrew, what clan does your character belong to?
This actually could have ended up going a lot of different ways, despite what people may may think of me. But I did end up going with Crane.
Okay. And that did give you an increase in firing and gave you. Did that? No, it didn't. That's not. I'm looking at the wrong character sheet. There we go. Air. It increased your air ring, and it gave you culture with 35 status. So I guess the tsunami knocked a couple points off. And what family does your character belong to?
Also another complicated question, and I still ended up with Kikita.
Okay, so just so everyone, for those of you keeping track at home, that is now 3 Kikitas that we have had on this stream.
Well, I mean, it's hard for people to not identify with the best clan and the best family.
I mean, okay.
I mean, that's why it happens so often.
But that's fine.
I totally agree, Andrew, which is why I think you show a lot of courage by choosing not the best clan and not the best family.
It's very courageous of you.
Yeah.
How sincere?
You're not Crab. You can't use that. Only Crabs get to use that. But Kakita did increase your firing, aesthetics, and meditation, and you got a starting wealth of 7 and 44 glory. And next, so let's go ahead and move on to the next person real quick. That was section 1. Edward, what clan does your character belong to?
He's a dragon of the Miramoto family.
Mm-hmm. That did increase your firing, gave you a skill in meditation, and you got a status of 30. And
shit, touch my face.
And what family does your character belong to?
Miramoto.
And you got an earth, and you got fitness, tactics, and 44 glory. And what is the starting wealth of the Miramoto? Oh, good God, I have the book here with me.
I don't remember. It's like 5 or something like that.
I mean, you're not exactly the richest. Yep, it's 5. And, okay, so next we have Sandy. What clan does your character belong to?
Scorpion.
The Scorpion, okay. Bold move, Cotton. And ring increase is air.
I think
You got a skill increase in skullduggery and 35 status. And what family does your character belong to?
Bayushi.
Okay, and that gave you a ring increase in fire with a skill increase in courtesy and design with 44 glory. All right, so we got 3 different clans here, and so just real quick aside, like why specifically do you identify with those specific clans, Andrew?
At first, it really just started with the idea of just being a wandering swordsman, dispensing justice at the end of your sword. And then when I kind of like learned more about the Crane, it kind of evolved into like this whole like idea of like political soft control.
Okay.
Through like manipulating people's perceptions of activities, what is acceptable. Like I tell people this all the time, and that the Crane are basically the 1%. Like, and it has all the same negative connotations that belong with being like very wealthy and
oh good God, where's my fan?
But it's totally true. It's totally true.
It kind of is, except, they're not exactly... They may have the attitude of the 1%, but they don't exactly have the wealth of the 1% anymore. Considering that,
Well, that's a particular story conceit, right? I mean, you can set L5R in any particular setting where there is or isn't a tsunami that ravaged their lands.
Yes, but whether it is or isn't, the clan champion is still hawking Crane artwork.
Which again is a particular conceit, not a fact.
What's the policy on politics in this podcast? Because if you say someone has the attitude of the 1% without the wealth of the 1%, I can think of real world demographics that applies to.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the thing. Even like the Crane were so wealthy that even like taking a big hit is still makes them as wealthy as any of the other great clans.
Yeah, pretty much.
Except their peasants get fucked.
Well, I mean, better that than like some other poor families,
Right.
like the Sparrow Clan, or I don't know, those guys who live in the mountains and like don't have
Speaking
kids.
of people that lives in the mountains without any kids, Edward, why do
Yeah,
you
fuck those guys.
why did you choose Dragon?
I've always been kind of attracted to the Dragon Clan, their outlook on individuality.
Okay. And I guess another important question: why isn't Andrew playing Dragon so we can have double dragons?
Because that joke is so tired and old.
But I still love it.
Sure, but we're not here for your amusement.
You kind of are, but whatever. Anyway, Sandy, why did you go play Scorpion? Besides the fact that at World that was probably the best deck.
Well, I mean, like Andrew said, it's hard to avoid the best clan. It's just natural. No, I think a lot of the things that appeal to me, in some sense, the political self-control, and I think that's a shared trait with Crane. But I also like the idea of being a necessary but not necessarily valued piece of the empire. And I think that like providing a service that is absolutely 100% necessary for stability, but is like kind of universally misunderstood or universally not valued appeals to me. I think that like that
like,
kind of.
You mean like trash, like kind of essential workers in our current environment.
Yeah, I mean, I think essential workers is a great analogy. Like infrastructure that nobody really notices until it stops working.
Right. Okay.
You have to go to work later, possibly cutting the short.
Yeah, well, that's why Andrew is all spiffed up, and the rest of us looks like bums.
Well,
Anyway,
we don't actually know what Edward's dressed like.
we don't know what Edward gets dressed like, but I can guess. Anyway, so Andrew, what school does your character
I'm wearing a
belong?
three-piece suit right now.
Not that you can prove it.
Not that you can prove
it. Yeah.
So what school does your character belong to?
For my school, I went back to the original conceit of what drew me into the Crane Clan, and I chose the Kikita Duelist school, but I chose the artisan role instead of the Bushi role.
Okay, so you're an artist and not a duelist.
Well, it's still the duelist school, but like
Okay.
I consider it more of an art form than a martial activity, than a strictly martial activity.
Got it. Okay. All right. Now you did get a ring increase to air and earth. So far, your character's still legal. You did get a skill increase to fitness, courtesy, martial arts, melee, sentiment, and design. 50 starting honor. Your starting technique, you chose weight of duty and Iejutsu cut, the rising blade. Your school ability is the way of the crane, which people can figure out later. And looks like you just picked the standard starting package for your class, for your school.
Yeah, no reason to diverge.
Exactly.
I guess I should choose between an attendant or a pony. I'll choose an attendant since I don't have a traveling position.
Okay, so you got an attendant.
You don't want a pony?
You don't want a pony?
Actually, no. I changed my mind. I
You want
because
the
as you see, no. It's just the regular Rokugan pony is fine. You'll see why an attendant is the wrong choice for me, or rather, the stream will. I think there were Zara and Edward have seen it already.
Yeah. And how does your character stand out within their school? You said they were patient, and that gave you an increase to the Earth rate.
Yeah, I wasn't necessarily the best student right out of the gate, but I persisted.
You persisted. Good
Nevertheless.
Okay, so next, Edward, what school did you choose?
So I chose the Muramoto Taoist Blade School, which is not in the core rulebook. I did this because the first L5R RPG character I was also Muramoto Taoist Blade, or the effective version of that in 4th edition.
Okay.
It just because there's only one Muramoto school, and then so when they came out with the other one, it's like, oh, this is kind of like more individualistic to be not the Muramoto Niten.
Okay. And that gave you an increase in Void and Water. That is a Bushi monk roll.
Yeah,
And
I didn't realize I had to choose a role.
I didn't
thought
realize you
like,
had to either. I thought it
Yeah,
was
I didn't know that was a thing. I thought you just just had those tags.
you were just you got both of them. Okay. Anyway, so skill increase. You chose martial arts. You chose martial arts melee and unarmed. You also chose meditation and theology. So you got 4 skill, which gave you 48 starting honor. You chose your starting techniques: striking as water, Iejutsu cut, rising blade. Hey, the same skill as your brother. Water fist, and your school ability is sharpen key. And starting outfit, you got the basic stuff too.
Yep.
Awesome. All right, Sandy. Now, what school does your character belong to?
Bayushi Manipulator.
All right, you chose to be a courtier, okay, which is fitting with your skill set, which is your character's skill set so far. The ring increase, you got air and fire. The skill increase of skullduggery, courtesy, performance, command, and design. 35 starting honor. You chose Rustling Leaf and Lord Bayushi's Whisper. And the school ability is weakness is my strength, and looks like you got the same standard. You chose basically the standard starting package as well.
Yeah, I didn't realize there was that much customizability in terms of the starting package. So
Yeah, I didn't know there was customization in the package either.
There are some characters get customization. That's like some school get customization, like excuse me, like
I mean, ultimately, it all belongs to the game master or whatever they want to
really
your
does.
customization options, right?
It really
I
does.
thought all gear belongs to the Empire.
Right,
Sure.
but the game belongs to the game master.
Sure.
Yeah. Sure. Okay, we can go with that. I can go with that.
Actually, my starting outfit is clothes, daisho, and traveling pack. That's literally it.
Yeah, but you get to customize the traveling pack. That's the thing.
Oh, I do?
Yeah. The traveling pack is not static.
I thought that was an item.
It was.
Okay.
It's actually it's like a kit. Like it's got like food, and then like maybe like chopsticks, a bowl, tea set, and like a couple other stuff. Like you can even have a small yurt. I don't know whatever I think that's called in your traveling pack.
Or a cricket.
Or a
Yeah,
cricket.
the lucky cricket.
You can have a lucky cricket. You could be Mulan, apparently.
Yeah. The lucky cricket was always one of my favorite items in 4th edition. You should be like, I'll just randomly have a cricket.
Right, and Sandy, you chose to be you were aware in your school. That's how you stood out, and that increased your water ring. All right, so let's go ahead and move on to the next section here. Section 3. Honor and glory. Andrew, who is your lord, and what is your character's duty to them?
I selected to be a vassal of the governor of Suma. I assume his name can be found in the beginner's book, but I actually don't have the beginner's guide, the beginner game available, like very handy. It's actually still packed up in one of my boxes. So whatever his name is, and my specific job there is to just oversee marketplace safety, in the city.
All right. And what
are you handy with the steel, Andrew? Is your character handy with the steel?
I mean, I'm
because you regulate.
Yes, but I mean, I'm a Kikita duelist. I'm the best with the steel.
Okay. And what does your character long for, and how does it impede with their duty? Now, this is where we get kind of spicy.
Well, can't be a geek off the street.
Yeah. Sorry. So this is where things start to get interesting. My character actually longs to end the caste system, or to see the caste system ended. Now, this is more of a nod to like my own real life politics.
I got to do this. Gasp!
Shocking.
Yeah, I mean, we would not be talking about this openly, of course, but since we're just talking about our characters.
Right. You know what? I realized something. Whenever I do these things, I really have to have my fan handy, which I don't. So I can, just cover my shock. All right. So your character wants to end the caste system, and I could see how that would impede with with your duty. And what is your Crane's relationship with their clan?
So the relationship is a little bit complicated, but I generally disagree with the concept of the caste system. I disagree. I disagree with the existence of great clans altogether. So I disagree with my clan's values, simply in the fact that great clans shouldn't exist.
Okay. And going
says the guy who shits on minor clans all the time.
I'm sorry, what? You broke up a little bit there.
Says the guy who shits on minor clans all the time.
Yeah.
Okay. So what does your character?
But minor clans shouldn't exist either.
So all clans.
I guess that's sort of consistent.
I guess so. So your thing is no clans should exist. Period.
Yeah. So that kind of the value of my clan, part of the values of a clan is self-preservation, and I disagree with it.
Okay. And what does your character think of Bushido?
I think Bushido is kind of a useful tool, but that's about it.
All right. And all right. So moving on to Edward.
Hello.
Okay. And who is your lord, and what is your character's duty to them?
So my lord is the sensei who trained me. The Muramoto Taoist Blade School is a small school, so he part of my task is to bring more knowledge from the outside world and spread knowledge outside. So just kind of be out there and exist.
Okay. And that's the wrong character sheet. And what does your character long for, and how might this impede in their duty? You actually left that blank, so
Yeah, I hadn't quite figured that one out yet.
Okay. Did you figure that out yet?
No, I have not.
Okay, so we'll go ahead and skip that. And what is your character's relationship?
Open to some suggestions.
Open to some suggestions. Okay. So your giri is to seek out new enlightenment or kenjutsu or insight within the school. But how about this? And this goes on to one of your things later on down the line. I guess people could see it. Just strength and weakness. That you led the defense of the very isolated dojo from bandits. Okay, so your giri is to go out and to seek enlightenment, but you're kind of like thinking, well, what if the school gets attacked again? How's that?
Oh yeah, so kind of root out those bandits.
Yeah, so
they killed my classmates.
Okay, so you want your ninyo is to
Senpai can no longer notice me.
That's funny.
Senpai cannot notice you if Senpai is not alive.
I mean, they can't notice me if I'm dead. If they're dead, right?
Yeah, so. yeah. Root out bandits that killed your senpai. Senpai can't notice me because he's dead. All right, and what is your clan's relationship with? What's your character's relationship with their clan?
I generally agree with the whole individual enlightenment thing, so it's cool.
Okay. And what does your character think of Bushido?
It's more or less fine.
More or less fine. Okay. All right. So moving on then, let's
I don't have
go.
particularly strong feelings about it in either way, I guess. So,
All right. Sandy, your turn.
Yep.
Who is your lord, and what is your character's duty to them? So what we
So,
came up with right before the stream was you work for Shoshiro Hyobu, the governor of Ryohowari.
yep. And the kind of my duty is to improve the efficiency, or I guess like the methods of data gathering, of like getting secrets, getting information, and like making that more effective.
Okay. And
finding synergies.
Yeah.
finding synergies with backwards overflow, something like that.
Synergizing backwards overflow.
Right. And what does your character long for, and how might this impede with their duty?
So I think there's kind of like it's the difference between I guess like managing something and doing it yourself. Like I think one of the passions that I have is to travel throughout and collect the gossips and secrets myself, versus like being more responsible for improving how other people, or how like systematically can be improved. So there's some overlap, but there's also some I guess conflict in that I sometimes just want to do things myself versus figure out how to help other people, or help my lord improve how things are done.
All right. And what
Wait.
is?
I want to put a pause right here, real quick. This is the Kimpire. Why are we not drinking?
Because
It's 11:30 Pacific time.
So it's a West Coast podcast.
I mean, you're definitely free to drink, but it's your liver, not mine.
Don't you have to work today?
Yeah, and
That's at 4.
It's 2.
I'm gonna get a beer. I'm gonna get a beer.
Okay,
Okay.
that sounds good.
So
I guess I should wait till we're done with my character before I.
well, that's kind of sticky because he's the next character. Well, here's the thing: we were going to take a break after the next section, but okay.
Well, no. I'm back already.
There we go. All right, and so what does your character long for, and how might this impede with their duty? So we already went through that. And what is your character's relationship with your clan?
So I think I'm pretty bought into my clan's like worldview and beliefs and tenets. I think I don't think there's much conflict there. Like I've drank the Kool-Aid. I'm a true believer.
Okay. You drank the scorpion poison. You drank the fiery madness.
When drinking poison, lick the bowl.
Yes. What does your character think of Bushido?
I think honestly, my character might be a little too pragmatic in terms of of fully buying into Bushido. I think that, for example, some of the tenets seem very strict for no reason. Like there's no yes, it's probably good or honorable to follow them, but I don't think that they serve much value. And that's so I think like outwardly maybe I try to present a face as though I follow it, but I don't think I believe in it at all.
Okay. All right, so let's go back to Andrew, and we're going to do this section, and then we're going to take a quick 3-minute break after this. For everybody, once we get through everybody, but strength and weaknesses. What's your character's greatest accomplishment so far? And I actually love this.
This is actually the hardest thing for me to come up with, because a character who was really disillusioned with the basically with his existence, what could he possibly consider his greatest accomplishment? So I decided that the fact that he's doing his job so well because he feels more akin to the lower classes like that are conducting commerce in the city of Suma than anything else. So his greatest accomplishment is going 200 days without a marketplace instance.
It's almost kind of like a 200 days without a lab accident.
Yeah, it's like 400 cycles without a Borg simulation.
Right, there we go.
Or since dinosaur attack.
Yeah, if you've seen Star Trek Picard, you'll get that.
Yeah, I've watched the whole thing, and all I'm saying is they killed my boy.
Number one, they killed number one. How dare they?
They didn't kill number one.
The dog.
Did they kill number one?
No. Well, it's unclear. Right?
Well,
I don't think so.
Oh, good God. Okay.
Yeah, so that was my character's greatest accomplishment.
All right, and that gave you Ibisu's blessings. And what holds your character back most in life?
Not Daikoku's blessing?
I chose that sometimes he is difficulty saying what's on his mind. Difficulty in restraining his bluntness, which gives me the bluntness adversity.
Okay. And what makes your character feel at peace?
Another thing that I've picked out of my own life is being alone.
Okay.
Like being alone, like having enough alone time is definitely very important. So I decided it synergized most with enlightenment.
Okay.
Like meditation.
Yeah, and we'll go, and this actually ties in with your thing that you were going to reveal like later on, but that whole.
I already brought it up.
It kind of is. It's like there. We'll talk about it like later on when we get to there. And
more info.
Yeah, and what concerns, fear, or foibles troubles your character the most?
So the thing that I'm concerned about the most, or at least my character, is that someone will uncover his unconventional thoughts about the caste system and whether or not it should exist. So he's because he's constantly worried about it. I've chosen the paranoia anxiety.
Right. Okay. I wonder what that unconventional ideas are. And who
Fall
has...
of the caste system. We already talked about this.
Yes, we have. And who has your character learned the most from during their life?
So I mean, obviously, I've had many teachers, my parents, but the most impactful was a itinerant philosopher who talked about another philosophical path.
Is this some sort of sect?
Maybe.
Of a land?
Yeah, I mean, and the land would be considered.
We're trying to think of yeah, okay. Yeah. So, and that sect does believe and that there is a way of achieving enlightenment. So that's what I'm saying, that, being alone actually makes sense for your character with all these. And all right, so that is section 4.
So the character, so my most influential person gives me the disadvantage dark secret and a skill and a 1 rank in survival.
Yes, it does. All right, Edward, strength and weaknesses.
So I imagine an attack against our very isolated dojo, and so since those bandits, I survived, but my other classmates did not. Not some of them didn't anyway. I was kind of the oldest student surviving the attack, and so that gave me a Bishamon's blessing.
Okay. And what holds your character back in life?
What holds him back? He living in an isolated area. You kind of don't really have time for social niceties. So when you're out in the wider world, you get perceived as blunt.
Okay. And makes your what makes your character feel at peace?
Enlightenment.
Enlightenment. Okay, so that's really interesting. You and your brother both chose bluntness and enlightenment.
Well,
I
I
mean,
chose bluntness.
you've met us. Are they wrong?
No, it's definitely not. It's not. Not wrong at all. Although I think that yeah. Uh, what concerns, fear, or foibles troubles your character the most?
Um, he's always kind of just being perfectionist. Wants to be done just so.
Right. Okay, and last is who has your character learned the most from during their life?
Obviously, the sensei of our school.
Okay, and I gave you quick reflex, and you chose quick reflexes at the advantage.
That's an advantage, yes.
Yep. Okay, and Sandy.
Yep.
What is your character's greatest accomplishment so far?
I uncovered a torrid affair. As you may or may not remember, I'm noted for being extremely aware of things,
Mm-hmm.
and I doubled down on that as I started my kind of real job, so to speak, and found some signs, followed them, and found an affair between a crab and a crane that was very scandalous.
Okay. So you got the subtle observer trait for that, distinction for that. And what holds your character back the most in life?
I think one of my core disagreements with Bushido is around the of courage, and I think that like my immediate prejudice against like people acting courageously for the sake of being courageous is puts me at odds mentally with a lot of the rest of Rokugani society.
Okay. And what activity makes your character feel at peace?
I think I like and this is similar to like the things that I enjoy. I like learning about things, finding out things that other people don't know, and then sharing those with the appropriate like where it will have the most impact, so to speak. So
Okay.
finding things out, investigating, gossiping,
All
very
right.
extroverted.
Yes. And what concerns, fear, or foible troubles your character the most?
I think in line with kind of my disdain for courage is the fear of death. I think I'm very hesitant to put myself in dangerous situations. I think that like it's hard for me to even take certain risks that may potentially lead to death. And that means that I think I pass up a lot of opportunities. I think it doesn't make me as forward thinking or as ambitious as I could be because I want to play it safe.
All right. And what concerns, fear, or foibles troubles your character the most?
Oh, that's what
Oh,
like
yeah,
the
we
fear.
just did that. Wow. Okay. And okay. So last question is, who has your character learned the most from during their life?
I think one of the like backstory scenarios that I like here is as an adolescent, I think I was less good at concealing my for courage. I was more open about kind of the gossiping, secretive nature of like things that I enjoy, and that led to negative interactions with my peers. And one of my mentors at school, teachers, was me the importance of courtesy, and like, and this is a very, I think, Scorpion thing, like the mask and the like presenting an outward appearance that hides your internal state, and like having, and that's something that I really took to heart. And I think the impact of having someone show me how to really be like a true Scorpion in the sense of having that always courteous demeanor, regardless of how I felt, was very important to me.
Awesome. All right. And you got and you chose Paragon of Courtesy as an advantage there. All right, so that is part 4. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a quick break for a quick 3-minute break, and so if you're watching this on YouTube, please go ahead, and this is the end of part 1. Please go ahead and like and subscribe, leave a comment, and right after this, part 2 should play. If you're watching on stream, stay tuned, and we'll be right back. All right, 3-minute break, guys. Go do what you need to do, but I gotta go pee, so BRB.